Does it feel like every part of your life is divided? Every scenario, every environment, your church, your school, your work, your friends, left, right, conservative, liberal, religious, secular. It seems you always have to take a side. This is a conversation between a progressive Christian and a conservative atheist who happen to be great friends. Welcome to Living on Common Ground.
Do you think if we met today, we would still be friends?
I don't know, but we're friends now.
A mob is no less a mob because they're with you.
Man, so what? We won a few games. And y'all fools think that's something? Man, that ain't nothing, y'all. And you know what else? We ain't nothing either. Yeah, we came together in camp. Cool. But then we're right back here and the world tells us that they don't want us to be together. We fall apart like we ain't a damn bit of nothing, man.
Okay. Good morning.
Yo.
Yeah. So, you're dejected about an election result that I didn't even pay attention to because I really don't care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is rough.
Okay.
This is rough.
So, tell us what the election result is and why it matters to you and why anyone else should care.
Okay. So it is it's congressional election primary in Kentucky. Thomas Massie lost. Massie is libertarians kind of claim him as our own.
Okay.
Even though he's been a registered Republican forever, but he's a very libertarian.
Okay, this is making a little
Republican.
more sense right now.
He's been in Congress for I don't know how long, 12 years, 16 years, something like that, and always won handily. First of all, he's in a district where the Republican's going to win, right?
Mm.
So that's that, and then so it's really just a matter of if he gets primaried, if he's going to win the primary,
Right?
And so. And he's always won the primary handily. His district has always absolutely loved him. He's even more libertarian, I would say, than Rand Paul. Those are the two.
Interesting. Right? Okay. Yeah, Rand Paul's like, for those of us that aren't in the same circles as you, he often is like the poster child.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Justin Amash used to be a libertarian kind of darling as well. Again, Republican, because libertarians aren't going to win. That's fine,
right?
But so you used to have Amash and Massie, and now you just had Amash left. He.
And where was he from?
Oh, was he? I think he might have been Kentucky also. And, Rand Paul's Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
They produce pretty. I feel like there is a strand of Appalachian.
Absolutely.
Kind of backwoods, leave us alone libertarianism.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not always, but there's a big, strong
again,
tradition.
You look at just the history.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
So anyway, he's been there forever and he's fantastic and he is, constitutionalist and so here's the thing. I think this is interesting. I was not upset when Trump got elected this time. Right? I wasn't.
Yeah, I know you said that.
This might upset some of my friends, but I celebrated. I didn't vote for him, but that's because I throw my vote away every 4 years. But I was happy about it. For a number of different reasons. And, I am not knee-jerk upset about a lot of the things that my more liberal friends are upset about, right? So somebody who just was like, for the last 10 years has been like, Trump's the worst thing. Can't believe it. This has to end, blah, blah, blah. I've always been like, okay, I'm not concerned. It's fine. And I'll get to why I think this is interesting. I'm like the last like 6 months, I've been like, I'm friggin' done with Trump.
Okay.
And a big part of it is because
for a minute there, I thought you were going to say with politics.
Well, I've said that before, but it's always a lie. I'll say it again, but I'll be lying.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't believe that. I believe you're done with Trump. I would not have believed that you're done with politics.
Yeah. There's been several things that have, and it's all of the what I consider to be kind of a betrayal of what I saw as a coalition that he put together, a kind of populist coalition that he put together, and politicians lie. I get that. Politicians promise.
What?
They promise. Listen,
what?
I'm not naive. Okay. However, there were several kind of core things that I thought we were going into this term with, like, no new wars, right? Less foreign entanglements. We're going to do things like put, Bobby Kennedy in charge of health stuff. We're going to put, put Tulsi Gabbard in charge of, the intelligence agencies. These were all supposed to be. We're going to put Kash Patel in charge of the FBI, and we are going to release everything that we've got on not just Epstein, okay, but on the whole system that represented. All the 3-letter agencies and their involvement, both ours and foreign 3-letter agencies. They're not 3-letter agencies.
I know what you mean.
In all countries, but anyway, that's all been completely betrayed. And, the thing is that, so Massie voted against a couple of things that were kind of the trophy bills that Trump wanted, like the thing that ended up being called the Big Beautiful Bill, right? And it's just a budget omnibus. Massie voted against it. He always votes against that because he's actually a fiscal conservative. So he votes against those types of things, or he votes for amendments to try to what Massie's always said, which is, I think, the right way to look at it, is that we should not be voting on omnibus bills, which are bills that are like cobbled together. Like a lot of different things get added onto one thing. They pass by continuing resolution, and it just gets passed in the
and that's the idea of the pork.
Yeah, and what he has always said, which is a small government thing, vote on these bills, but separate them out. Make our representatives vote on each different issue. Right. Anyway, but you can vote on a bill where you're like, I'm going to fund the troops. But then also there's like,
because it's a budget bill, then you can also stick in all these other funding things
and
or
things that aren't even funding things,
or whatever.
That's right.
Yep.
So anyway, he voted against these, and that really pissed Trump off. And he and some how am I going to say this? Because I'm not going to get into a lot of this, but there was funding, enormous funding, from outside of Kentucky, enormous. The most expensive congressional, definitely the most expensive congressional primary race ever in history, and I think that's adjusted for inflation too. To prop up a guy, to bring in a guy, who, number one, was a never Trumper, who left the Republican Party when Trump came in, because of that. There's like multiple things where he was up until last year was like, I'm Trump's enemy, but he saw an opportunity. He flipped. Trump and all of his outside funding sources poured something like $28 to $30 million into this race. And from like total, I think total, there's like 70 donors, whereas Massie has, what he always has, which is like thousands of donors that are, average of a couple $100,
sure,
that kind of thing. Anyway, whatever. The thing is, I thought, oh, this one's going to be close because they are really trying, but I did not think that he was going to lose. I mean, he always gets like 80% of the vote in the primary. They love him. But it worked, and whatever. It is what it is.
Here's the thing that I find interesting. Okay, so obviously now it makes more sense that he represents a libertarian position, and so now it makes more sense because you live in Tennessee, you're from California. Why would you care about Kentucky? But it is a United States congressional position, and it's one that seems to align more closely with you than maybe others would.
Yeah, and I've been following Massie forever.
So I get that. Okay.
I think this is an interesting, and the reason I think this kind of relates to other stuff. Last week we were talking about Jackson and Davy Crockett.
Yeah.
And you were talking about how Crockett had opposed Jackson on some bill or something like that, and then he became enemy number one. Jackson.
And he crushed Crockett.
Yeah.
After that. Yeah.
This is exactly what happened here.
Yeah.
Right. And so Massie became, all he did in the early part. What is this? This is so in mid 2025. All he did was say, okay, you have a huge coalition of people, Trump, people who part of the reason that you swept in an overwhelming way is because they expect you to release the information that both parties have been lying to the American people about. When it comes to Epstein, JFK files, MLK files, these types of files. We all know that we've been lied to constantly, right? They stare down the barrel of the camera and they say something that cannot be true, right? And we all know that. And Trump sweeps into power saying, you know what, we're gonna release all of this, right? And then, and I don't, I'm not gonna get into too much of the detail here, but like that whole scene where they in the first like month, when Trump's doing the executive order after executive order after executive order in the first month, and then they bring all the journalists in to give them the Epstein files, and then all those, I don't know if you remember that, the video of all of them walking out with the binders, and it was nothing. They didn't give them anything, and then the AG just lying and saying that, well, they're all on my desk, but you can't see them yet, and then like a couple weeks later saying there is nothing else, and whatever. And so Massie went, okay, look. I'm gonna introduce a bill to require you to release this stuff like you said you were going to, and it wasn't targeting Trump. It wasn't, but because Trump was president at that point, Trump became a target for commentary from the left about the Epstein files, as if Trump was the main focus of the Epstein files, right? And he didn't like that, so he really wanted that pushed away, that story pushed away. But Massie was requiring it in these in this law that he got passed, and so that made Trump mad also, and then he votes against the big beautiful bill for fiscal reasons, and so anyway, so all of this to say, this is how you get people who ostensibly are on the same side as enemies.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I'm sitting here like, you might have hated Trump from the beginning. I get that. Fine. I didn't, but now I've got no truck with him. I'm not, because he came after somebody who I know to be principled and like an ally.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of, like last year, I think it was last year when I was telling you I was so upset because I was on Twitter all the time, and I was seeing fighting between people that I feel like should be allies with each other,
Yeah.
And then they go after each other, and I just hate it. Anyway, so that's where I am today.
Interesting. So while we're talking about Trump and we're talking about money, there's a couple things that have made the news this week, and I want to get your take on that too.
Yep.
So the first one is that that Trump has made it, or is working to make it. I don't know what he made a deal with the IRS that's going to grant him all of his businesses and his family tax. Like I wouldn't say tax immunity, but immunity from pending tax audits.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that the articles are being written, it's a little tricky to understand exactly what's happening here.
Yeah,
and I mean that's intentional, right? Because depending on who you're trying to draw
to cater to, sure.
Yeah, there you go. That's the word I was looking for. You're going to write it differently, right? So, like one of them says that he grants himself tax immunity, which I don't think that's. I mean, I guess it could be if you're not allowed to be edited, if you're not allowed to be audited. I don't know. Okay, so tell me about that. What's going on with that one?
I don't know a lot of detail, but I do know that originally what was being reported is that it's a deal being struck because Trump had a really large lawsuit out against the IRS. It's like $1.4 billion lawsuit or something like that they've been litigating. And the deal that his attorney struck had something to do with dropping that lawsuit in exchange for setting up some fund in order to defend against IRS prosecution for the way it was reported is like for other entities and individuals who had been targeted for political reasons or something like that. And so I assume this is part of that deal. And I don't know the details of it, but these types of things are struck from time to time with you've got the right.
So that
right attorneys.
I didn't know if it was the same thing or not, but I knew that the anti-weaponization fund.
Yeah.
Right. Which is it's 1.8, but I think it's actually technically 1776. Right. Isn't it supposed to be like 1 billion, whatever.
Are they trying to line it up with 1776?
Yes.
God, I hate that kind of stuff.
So it's 1.8 billion is what it gets rounded off to, but it's actually 1,700,000,000. Whatever.
I hate that kind of stuff because I find it so trite. But the thing is, I should learn my lesson. It works. That kind of thing works.
Yeah.
The whole like naming a bill, We Love the Children Act, and it really is for like, I don't know, increasing your grocery tax by 20% or whatever. That works.
Yeah.
Just like rhyming things works for people.
Sure.
Even though I hate it, I find it to be so trite, but I should learn my lesson. Anyway.
So apparently another big thing that's coming out of that is that some of the people that were part of the storming of the Capitol are going to be potentially going to be compensated as people that were targeted by the government. Does that sound ridiculous, or
No.
am I just being?
No, that one we probably are on different sides of.
Okay, tell me
generally.
Tell me, I'm all about learning. All right, tell me what I'm missing. Why would someone who stormed the Capitol, is on video of having stormed the Capitol, be eligible to be given money by the United States government as in compensation for being targeted by the government? How could you be targeted by the government when you participated in something like that?
Okay. So, number one, if we're going to use the terminology storming the Capitol, I already know where we're starting. So that's one part.
So would you say that they didn't storm the Capitol? Like, how would you phrase it then?
There are thousands of people. Some I would categorize as storming, and some I would categorize as walking into a door that was opened by the police officers.
Okay.
Some I would categorize as rioting.
Okay.
Some I would categorize as taking an unaccompanied tour, staying within the ropes, and walking through the Capitol.
Okay.
And some of those who walked through and didn't do it, I mean, really, as far as I'm concerned, I watched a lot of the video, weren't doing, I mean, they were there. Yes, they were walking through. They were not rioting. They were not, some of those people were thrown in federal prison for years and years. And so, yeah, I can see the justification for that kind of thing. For now, I don't know if they should be compensated or I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
So what I hear, go ahead.
But the other side is that I do think that I think we're way further down the road of using whatever tools we have available to us to hurt our political enemies. I think we're way further down the road than most people think. And I think that there's a lot of people that I hear that would say, yeah, that's right because of Trump. And I would say, I think Trump's just a symptom. I think that line has been, I don't know that I could say there's a date when it started. Right. But I know that when under the Obama years, that the IRS was being used to audit particular nonprofits that were considered conservative nonprofits. That the AG's office was being used to investigate groups of parents that were showing up at school board meetings and were upset about COVID restrictions. They were being investigated. I'm really not trying to say, so therefore it's Obama's fault or therefore it's Joe Biden's fault. My point is I really do think we're probably way further down that road. And that's not good. That's not
I agree
great.
with you. Well, I mean, that's part of what I talk about. One of the things that I think, how do I want to put it? One of the things that I have observed is that we're no longer actually trying, and I think we've talked about this, we're not actually trying to solve issues anymore because issues are good weapons to use against your political opponents.
That's right.
Right? Like, for example, if anybody was really concerned about tightening border security, we would have done it. But it's much better to be able to point out how the other one's solutions to border security are the wrong solutions instead of saying, how do we come up with a solution? Yeah. So I agree with that.
And by the way, I'll bet that this, going back to this January 6th compensating people, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll bet that there will be people that I would be like, okay, they were rioting.
Sure.
They were, they shouldn't have been doing what they were doing, and they'll get compensated. And you know what I mean? Like, I'll bet it'll be all in the mix. And so then both sides will be able to find their person and be like, see, they're just illegally blah, 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 whatever,
Yeah. Well, that was good for me to hear sort of your take on that, because what I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, is that yes, the Capitol was stormed that day, but there were also people there that were there that weren't necessarily part of the quote unquote storming of the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
That there was degrees, there was varying degrees of people that were in the vicinity, people that were participating, to even varying degrees of participation in what was taking place that day. But to say that but to just lump them all together is sort of that's not fair either.
And I think that the federal government would go after those that they could get.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those people are people that I really don't think that they should have. And then another little quirk to this, it's not a little quirk as far as I'm concerned, I'm compelled and convinced that federal informants were involved in the entire thing and were instigating it. And that's not new, by the way. That's not new. I mean, I first heard of this kind of thing happening under Bush during the height of the War on Terror. You'd get FBI agents, CIA agents that would find some kid who was probably not super bright, but he's Muslim. He's got a Muslim name, and he's got, and get him real riled up about, don't you hate the fact that we bombed the village that, where your family comes from and whatever? Don't you want to do something about that? 3 or 4 of them, get this kid and maybe his friend or whatever, give him all the bomb materials, get him to say that he's going to make the bomb.
And then bust him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we see that even with what start out maybe as peaceful protests turning into violent riots. Yeah. And, the accusations have always been from both sides that, well, there's somebody there, that there's a group of people that were sent there in order to kind of fan the flame.
And we certainly have done, I mean, like, okay, you caught me on a day, man.
Good. Good. Maybe,
I mean, virtually every color revolution across Europe, as far as I'm concerned, is a CIA op. I mean, anyway.
That sounds like it's on the verge of a conspiracy theorist.
I mean, except Victoria Nuland was on the record saying they did it. I mean, she specifically said they did it, or they were going to do it. They were doing it, and they needed this guy in the position instead of that guy. And then it happened anyway in Ukraine. That was the Ukrainian.
Sure.
Most recent Ukrainian one.
Okay.
All right. Are we going to publish this episode?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah. It's going to come out on, what? I don't know. What day? The 28th. May 28th.
Good.
Yep. Yeah, wait, do you think this will be our last episode?
We'll see.
I don't know. They just shut down. Yeah. Like nowhere near enough people listen. But what about the fact that Stephen Colbert just had his last episode? Yep. Thanks to Trump.
Thanks to Trump.
Yeah.
Not thanks to his terrible ratings. Thanks to Trump. See, this is the thing.
And Jimmy Kimmel's next.
Pain in the ass. I'm such a. Oh, probably. That's just. I feel like that's late night TV. I mean, I'm
just trying to rile you up.
No, I know, but like, man, I just feel like that genre of entertainment. I don't think it necessarily has anything to do with their politics. Honestly, I think that it's like, what could their ratings be at this point? How many people could really be? I don't know.
I have to be honest. I like. So, I think when I think about Stephen Colbert and I think about Jordan, was it Kepler?
I don't know.
I forget how to say his name. Anyway, he was always part of the Daily Show, and he would be like the guy out there with the microphone, and then he would ask you questions, and he would always look for the most ridiculous person, and then twist them around. He's very good at what he does. He's very funny. And then Jimmy Kimmel, who Jimmy Kimmel was. I think he hit his stride when remember that show that he was on?
The Man Show.
Yeah, that was probably when he was at his best.
He was, he and Adam Carolla were like,
that was good. And then I like Jon Stewart, but the only time, I don't watch any of them. They show up on my social media feeds, right, because of the algorithm. Yeah, but that's all I see are little clips of them.
That's what I mean.
And half the clips, I'm like, I don't think that's like. Some of them I even watch and I'm like, was that AI created anymore? Because my kids are really good at being able to identify what was AI and what's not. Yeah. But sometimes I'm getting better at it, but sometimes I can't tell video wise.
Well, and then there's also Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers have their own show. I mean, every once in a while,
right. I forgot about Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers.
Jay Leno, right?
Maybe.
Anyway, the point is like, who watches
Seth Meyers?
Who watches Seth Meyers? And I like Seth Meyers. I'm not trying to say, and I like Jimmy Fallon.
They were great on Saturday Night Live.
And by the way, I loved the Colbert Report when he was doing that. That was
all.
He was making fun of my side,
right?
And I loved it.
Well, that was part of the Daily Show.
Well, yeah, so good.
Yeah, so he got his own thing from that, and then Jon Stewart came back to the Daily Show.
Yeah, I think these guys.
I used to watch the Daily Show years ago when Jon Stewart was first doing it, not when he came back.
Yeah,
but
the Daily Show's great. That's great. Also,
I don't watch it anymore. I have no idea.
I haven't watched it in forever, but I think it's good. I think that.
But I think it was also back in the day. It was important to remember. It was on the comedy show. It was on the Comedy Network or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's where people actually get their news.
Yeah, that's true. And that happened, I think. I remember that conversation happening 15 years ago when people were, I remember people saying like, I think some people are getting their news from the Daily Show. Mm-hmm. Like that's the only news that they watch. And that was like 15 years ago.
I know that people get their news from TikTok.
Yeah, well, that's true.
That's crazy.
Sure.
So we now get our news. And again, I'm thinking back.
8-second sound bites or whatever.
Right. I'm now going all the way back to Neil Postman, Amusing Ourselves to Death.
Yeah.
I would love to hear what he would have to say about
I think he would say
today.
Obviously
that was going to happen.
Yeah, and at some point it's going to be did you ever watch Demolition Man? That movie?
I remember the name of it. I don't think I ever saw it.
It's great. I love it. It's Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes, Sandra Bullock. It's future. It's like dystopian future. It doesn't matter. It's dystopian future, but it's dystopian.
Was Sandra Bullock hard up for money at the time? Because I'm thinking about the two. You said Arnold? No, who?
Sylvester Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes.
But this is peak Wesley Snipes. This is like Blade. Wesley Snipes. This is before he goes to prison for tax evasion.
Even Blade was a bit of an eye roll.
Really? Oh man, that must be a generational thing because I love Blade.
Yeah, it was fine, but it was like
It is a little ridiculous, but it was so cool. I thought it was so cool. Anyway,
I liked Wesley Snipes in Major League.
I've never seen Major League.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's a baseball thing. I haven't.
Wow. That's the most offensive thing you've said today.
I remember my friends talking about it, but for whatever reason, I just never saw it.
Wow.
Anyway, in this movie, it's futuristic, and it's like everyone is at peace, and then you find out it's because the government's like controlling everything, blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, so it's kind of dystopian, but it's also, everyone's at peace. But one of the things is nobody has sex anymore. So they go on a date and then they come back and they put on like VR headsets that flash like erotic things in their eyes and sounds and whatever. And then that's what, and then babies are made in
tubes
like Brave New World or whatever, but it's like for hygiene and for, whatever. And so they have no concept of actual sex anymore and blah, blah, blah. So my point being, I think Neil Postman would be like, well, obviously that's where we will go. We'll go, everything's getting shorter and faster and it'll just be until it's just the feelies. It's just flashes of things, and I wouldn't bet against that. I mean, if I was gonna put my money down on something, I would say, don't bet against the limbic system. You know what I mean? Like it'll be shorter and shorter, and that's you can't go, well, maybe because everything is such a short attention span now, we'll do the long attention span thing. And then there'll be a market for it. Because maybe, that's what I hear from the people that I like. The Brett Weinsteins, the Joes Rogan. They say that kind of stuff. And of course, Joe Rogan has like the long form, right, conversations. But they will say things, Heather Heying, they will say things like, this is showing that there's an appetite for it. And I think maybe it's just a short reaction, and really long term, we will continue going shorter and shorter and shorter. And
so eventually our podcast is going to go, because it started out, it was about an hour, a little over an hour. Then we've cut it back to about, now it's usually around 45 to 50 minutes. Eventually we're going to have a 10-minute podcast. We're going to come in. You're just going to say something to piss everybody off, and then we'll be done.
There you go. Perfect. That sounds great.
We'll be able to record an entire 2 months in one day.
That's great.
I know some people that are friends of mine that would love that.
I just, man. Anyway, so look, I've said forever, I'm politically homeless. I'm a pain in the butt. I'm always like, if I sense the direction of thought going one direction, I'm like, well, maybe, so it's not surprising to me to find myself here. And it's funny because, I'll kind of say stuff like this about Trump in particular. Right. And I'll have friends of mine be like, yeah, because he's crazy because he's doing X, Y, or Z or whatever. And I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. Like, that's not, no, I'm fine with that actually. You know what I mean? Like, but anyway, I don't know. What's the point of this?
Well, it was interesting to me to hear your perspective.
Let me tie my own rope.
No, I got to hear your perspective on the current political climate. You educated me on what? On you helped me understand some. You pointed out some blind spots for me, where as a person who appreciates nuance, I'm speaking about myself now, that I didn't see it. And so that's helpful to realize that we don't, even the things that we value, we don't always see in the things that we're looking at because of what we're anticipating seeing. Right? So when we talked about...
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do. And obviously, I do the same thing. Obviously, I have my blind spots, and obviously, I think that I am being, speaking from an educated position, when in reality, I'm being fed a particular algorithm as well, right? And so I have to remember that. I think it was always great to remember that there's generally an understandable reason for somebody to have their point of view, right? Like, it's not because, they're stupid or they're bad and the bad people do the bad things because they're bad. You know,
we're not saying that there aren't stupid people and that there aren't bad people. Just want to go on record.
Keep that open.
Just want to go on record as saying that. Because there are people, Lucas, that I look at and I think, man, you're stupid, or man, you're just a bad person. Is that wrong of me?
I don't know. I'm positive that
actually, I hope that people understand that that's in jest.
Well, I don't know.
But I think there are people that is a natural reaction when you see things, especially the things that don't make any sense to you, or that you know. But to your point, it is most people. I'll go as far as to say most people have very good reasons for doing and saying what they do and say. Very good reasons in their mind to them.
Yeah. I don't think that's rational. By the way, I don't think these positions are
100%. I agree with that. 100%.
It's just understandable.
Yeah,
it's understandable.
It goes back to me. It goes back to the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? If that is all you know, then that will be your position, right? And yes, that may be to use their vernacular, Mount Stupid. But then if you're going to go through the valley of despair, you're willing to take on that there's more nuance to it, which is very scary and frustrated, that you can come through and your position may not change, but at least you can begin to, like we're talking about right now, at least understand why other people might hold the positions they hold.
That's the thing. I just think, for myself, if I can remember, it's if I had their experience, I almost certainly would. If I had their experience, I would think and feel like them.
Maybe.
I don't see how it could be any other way. If I had all the variables,
sure,
those that can be measured,
the education, the whole,
everything in exactly the way that they got it, including the molecular structure of their body, everything.
I'm with you on that.
Then I would respond the way that they respond, just like I am responding the way that I respond.
Yep. And now we're getting into the idea of free will.
It always comes back to that with me, huh?
Right. So I will say something that's been very helpful to me that I read. Let's see, how many books ago did I read it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books ago. The Soul of America. Have I mentioned that already?
You did, yeah.
By John Meacham. I found that extremely helpful for perspective, since we're talking about perspective right now. And we're wrapping up. But it made me realize that what I'm looking at when I look at our political climate today, and I can get very frustrated by it. I can start to feel like defeated by it. I can start to feel like I just want to retire and go live with just Denise somewhere where no one else can bother us. Whenever
I see
what?
No problems with this plan.
No, I'm not saying there's a problem with that plan. But what I am saying is that when you get to that point, do a little bit of studying of the history of the United States and the presidency.
Oh, sure.
And you'll realize it's not like it's been worse before.
Oh, yeah.
And here we are.
And like last week you were talking about the smear campaign that Jackson did to Davy Crockett.
Yeah.
And I was my thought was like, oh man, I have read about the smear campaigns that happened in the 18th century and early 19th century. They're
horrific.
Rough.
They didn't even care if it sounded like truth.
Right.
Like they weren't even trying to veil it.
Go after all aspects of your life.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the craziest thing to me is like when you look at like going back to the first presidency stuff, not Washington, nobody dared.
Yeah.
Right. But like Adams
and Jefferson,
the things that they would say. And then at the end of the day, they still how do you remain friends?
Yeah, they were friends.
How do you remain friends?
But they were really mad at each other for a long time.
Hamilton was a douchebag. The things that he would write and say, and again, against Jefferson in particular.
The real villain of the early American experiment, as far as I'm concerned. Alexander Hamilton.
Hamilton?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The establishment of the First National Bank.
I mean, I think the best thing that ever happened to Adam Hamilton, his legacy, was
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes, the Broadway show.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it makes him sound like a real hero.
He was amazing. Well, okay, we're wrapping up. So I have thought about this. He gets that. He gets to have that reputation because he is considered to be on the right side of one issue: slavery. That's it. Mm-hmm. Because of that, that's what I think. Because of that, we are allowed to think that this guy who represented, I'm telling you, everything that the left is supposed to hate. Mm-hmm. Everything. The whole 99% movement, we are the 99 and whatever, the Occupy Wall Street movement, all of that, you're talking about Hamilton. Right. Hamilton's the one that set all that up. He represented all that. And by the way, that's the industry that I represent too. So, I get it. That's where but I'm just saying because he is considered to be on the right side of slavery, I think that he gets a pass on all of that in our current setup, our current culture. Anyway, whatever. All right, which is good. It is a plus. It is in the plus column for him.
Sure,
he was on the right side of slavery.
Sure, and I guess the other thing too to think about then is maybe certain issues do carry more weight than others in our own minds. Even though we may not do it that way.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Thank you for listening to Living on Common Ground. Please follow wherever you listen to your podcasts and share it with your friends. You can also find a link to our social in the description. The more people we have living on common ground, the better the world will be.